You won't believe what they're saying about Kyle Hamilton, an NFL director. Yeah, someone from inside the league dropped a line that's got everyone's jaws on the floor. And once you understand why, you'll see the Ravens' defense might be about to take over the NFL in a way no one expected. We're talking about a young guy, just 24 years old, already considered the best at his position, not just because of stats, but because of the way he changes the entire game just by being on the field. And here's the crazy part. Even with fewer stats last year, he earned even more respect. There's something numbers don't show, but this video will reveal it all. Some people still don't get the size of the beast we have on defense. When you find out what he's doing, where he's playing, the real impact he's making, and the ridiculously low price the Ravens are paying for it, you'll realize Kyle Hamilton might be exactly what Baltimore needed to climb back to the top of the NFL. So stick with me till the end, because what this guy means for the Ravens goes way beyond any stat. And what's coming next could change everything. Have you ever stopped to think what makes a player the best at what they do? Well, that's exactly the story with Kyle Hamilton. It's not just because he rocks the Ravens purple and black. ESPN ranked him the #1 safety for 2025. Imagine the weight of that. The whole league has tons of talented players, but number 14 from Baltimore sits on top. That's no small honor. It's a massive recognition of what he represents in football today. And it wasn't a close call. Hamilton blew away the competition, leaving other great players in the dust. That shows how much attention he commands, not just for highlight plays, but for how he reads a game. He can read the quarterback, predict the play before it even happens, and be exactly where he needs to be. It's like he has a special radar, always locked on danger. But it's not just his brain that impresses. The guy's physical build looks tailor-made for NFL domination. Tall, strong, fast, the kind of athlete who intimidates just by standing there. Mix that with his football IQ, and it's easy to see why coaches, analysts, and even opponents respect him so much. It's no exaggeration to say he's a standard everyone wants to reach when they think about safeties. And here's the wildest part. This best in the NFL doesn't stick to just one position. He does way more than play safety. That's where our next point comes in, showing how he's become a true wild card in the Ravens' defensive scheme. Want to know what really makes Kyle Hamilton so special? It's simple. He's not just the best safety. He's a do-it-all player. Some days he's deep backfield, making sure no one gets past him like a classic free safety. Other times, he drops into the slot to cover receivers quick as lightning, almost like a cornerback. And that's not all. Sometimes he's basically a linebacker, watching the running back, ready to blow up the gap and stop the run. He's the kind of player that forces offenses to rethink everything just because he's there. This totally messes up the opposing game plan. Offensive coordinators spend all week drawing up plays to attack a specific spot on the defense. But on game day, when they see Hamilton line up somewhere else, the whole script goes out the window. And that's the magic. He makes the other team adjust to him, not the other way around. He calls the shots on the field. And there's nothing more valuable to a defense than that. What's even more impressive is that he does all this without looking confused. A lot of players try to be versatile, but end up being average at everything. Hamilton, he's excellent at every role he takes on. That's why they call him a hybrid defender, able to be 3 or 4 different players at once. That's super rare in the NFL, and exactly what makes him so dangerous. And here's the craziest part. Even with all that versatility and dominance, his 2024 stats weren't as high as the year before, yet he still got the most votes as the top safety. That shows his impact goes way beyond numbers, and that's what we're diving into now. It's funny how many people focus only on numbers when talking football. Stats matter, sure, but with Kyle Hamilton, they don't tell the whole story. In 2023, for example, he put up ridiculous numbers. Over 10 tackles for loss, 10 pass breakups, sacks, interceptions, a stats showstopper. In 2024, those numbers dipped a bit. But even so, he grabbed more than 60% of the votes as the league's best safety. That doesn't just happen by chance. Why? Because everyone who truly understands a game knows his impact goes way beyond what shows up on the stat sheet. He makes quarterbacks hesitate, changes routes, forces mistakes just by where he lines up, How many times did the offense abandon a throw or change a play because they saw Ravens number 14 sitting where they wanted to attack? That doesn't make the highlight reels, but it wins games. It's that silent influence that separates good players from the truly special ones. Hamilton is so respected that sometimes the best the offense can do is avoid him, and that by itself is a win for the defense. He basically erases part of the field, forcing quarterbacks to throw somewhere else. When a player reaches that level of respect, he becomes a psychological nightmare for opponents. And think about this. Even with all that, Hamilton is still on a super cheap contract. That gives the Ravens a huge edge to build the rest of the roster. And that's exactly what we'll talk about next.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video. But before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
It's almost unbelievable when you look at Kyle Hamilton's impact and then realize how little he cost the Ravens. In 2024, his cap hit was just $5 million. For anyone who follows NFL contracts, that's basically a steal for a player of his caliber. It's the kind of rookie deal that lets the team spend big on other positions while still getting one of the best defenders on the planet for a bargain price. This kind of bargain is every general manager's dream. It gives the Ravens the flexibility to invest in pass rushers, receivers, offensive linemen, all without worrying about losing the guy who changes the game on defense the most. That's why the Ravens front office has been maximizing this contract, building a competitive team around Hamilton and Lamar Jackson while they still can. But of course, this won't last forever. Hamilton is already a strong candidate for a monster contract extension soon, possibly the biggest ever for a safety. And honestly, he deserves every penny. Considering what he's delivering now and how much more he can grow, paying him isn't just fair, it's necessary. Because the value he brings won't last forever, but his talent sure will. And if there's one thing that this combo of a cheap contract and huge talent does, it's making the Ravens even more ready to fight for a Super Bowl. That brings us to the last point. Because Hamilton isn't just a great player, he's the heart of a defense dreaming of bringing that trophy back to Baltimore. When we talk Super Bowl, we're talking about complete teams. But there are always those special pieces that lift the whole roster's level. For the Baltimore Ravens, that guy is Kyle Hamilton. He's a silent leader, the one who doesn't need a shout to motivate because the way he plays inspires everyone around him. It's the confidence he passes on to teammates, knowing the best safety in the NFL is watching their backs. In big games, against powerful offenses, Hamilton makes all the difference. He reads the quarterback with calm precision, shuts down spaces that looked open, and turns big plays into minimal gains. That's why he's so crucial to Baltimore's goals. They don't just want to make the playoffs. They want to win it all. And for that, they need Hamilton at his best, healthy and leading the defense. More than just talent, he brings that feeling of we're safe. Bring on Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, whoever. If Hamilton's on the field, Ravens fans can breathe a little easier because they know there's someone there who not only understands the game better than almost anyone, but also has the physical tools to execute what his mind calls for. That's rare. Now I want to hear from you. With Kyle Hamilton playing at this level, do you think it's finally the time the Ravens bring the Lombardi back? Drop your thoughts below. I'm really curious to see how the flock feels about this golden opportunity. And that's why Kyle Hamilton isn't just the best safety in the NFL. He's the kind of player who changes a team's destiny. His presence lifts the Ravens' defense to a whole new level, confuses quarterbacks, dismantles entire offenses, and gives everyone around him confidence. It's not just talent. It's leadership, smarts, and that cold-blooded clutch factor that makes all the difference when it matters most. With Lamar leading the offense and Hamilton leading the defense, Baltimore holds two rare pieces that can carry this team all the way to the trophy. The Super Bowl window is wide open, and if he keeps playing like this, no one will want to face the Ravens in January. Now tell me, do you think this is the year Hamilton leads a flock back to the top and brings a Lombardi home? Comment below, because this conversation is ours, and I really want to see how Ravens Nation feels about this season.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself. See you there, and until the next video, go Flock!